In the autumn of 1888, 5 women, known historically as the Canonical Five, were brutally murdered in the impoverished cobblestone alleyways of London's Whitechapel district. The perpetrator vanished into the fog after every attack, leaving behind a terrified public and a myth that would endure for over a century: the legend of an untouchable phantom killer. The sheer brutality of the crimes was matched by an unsettling precision. The killer removed specific internal organs in total darkness and in record time. This led Victorian police to a very narrow theory. They were hunting an individual with advanced anatomical knowledge and surgical training. Yet the investigation yielded nothing but failure. Scotland Yard scrutinized 11 primary suspects, from wandering doctors to members of the royal family. They secured 0 convictions. Over the next 130 years, an endless loop of media hysteria and amateur sleuthing treated the case as an unsolvable puzzle. That narrative is entirely out of date. 21st century forensic science has finally pierced the fog of 1888, identifying a highly probable killer. In the process, modern investigative techniques have highlighted a significant gap between the Victorian public's perception and the evidence the police actually held. Re-examining the original investigation clearly reveals that the legend of the untouchable criminal genius is a narrative of the past. The files suggest the failure to close the case had less to do with the killer's brilliance and more to do with internal institutional decisions that have remained hidden for over a century. The collapse of the Ripper myth began in 2019 when researcher Russell Edwards and forensic expert Dr. Jari Luolainen focused their attention on a single piece of physical evidence: a 126-year-old blood-stained shawl found directly beside the body of the 4th victim, Catherine Eddowes. Because the biological material had heavily degraded over a century, the team could not extract standard nuclear DNA. Instead, they isolated mitochondrial DNA, a specific type of genetic material found in the energy-producing structures of cells, which is passed down almost unchanged from a mother to her children. The testing produced a definitive result. The genetic material extracted from the fabric was a 99.2% match to a living female relative of Aaron Kosminski, an impoverished Polish immigrant who worked as a barber in the Whitechapel slums. Next-generation genetic sequencing from 2023 and 2025 took this analysis a step further. By isolating specific markers within the surviving genetic code, forensic biologists reconstructed the killer's phenotypic traits, predicting a partial physical profile that included brown eyes and brown hair. Mitochondrial DNA provides a concrete physical reality that contradicts the Victorian myth. It places a specific individual at the scene, replacing a spectral phantom with the verifiable genetic profile of an ordinary resident of the district. Looking at this map of 1888 Whitechapel, we can see how digital spatial analysis independently verifies the biological data. In 2024, cold case investigators utilized AI crime mapping. The software plotted the 5 murder sites and generated expanding heat rings to calculate the most probable anchor point. Notice how the geographic epicenter converges in Whitechapel East, landing exactly on Aaron Kosminski's residential address. To accept this localized data, investigators had to account for the infamous "Dear Boss" and "From Hell" letters. These were the taunting, blood-soaked messages mailed to Scotland Yard that originally created the media panic and coined the very name Jack the Ripper. A 2024 AI handwriting recognition study analyzed the pen strokes, syntax, and linguistic patterns of those historic documents. The algorithms confirmed what many historians long suspected. The vast majority of the letters were elaborate hoaxes written by local journalists to boost newspaper sales. When modern algorithms strip away the fake letters and map the verifiable crime scenes, the chaotic footprint of a ghostly supervillain disappears. We are left with a highly predictable, tightly localized geographical cluster that points directly back to Aaron Kosminski. This creates an uncomfortable paradox. If mitochondrial DNA and AI spatial mapping both point directly to Kosminski, we have to ask why the Victorian police never arrested him during the original investigation. The answer sits inside the sealed files of the Metropolitan Police. Historical documents from New Scotland Yard show that investigators actually zeroed in on Kosminski almost immediately. He was, in fact, the police force's #1 suspect all along. The failure to prosecute began with a terrified witness. police located a man who saw Kosminski attacking one of the victims. However, the witness was Jewish, as was Kosminski. Fearing his testimony would trigger violent anti-Semitic riots against the already marginalized immigrant community in London, the witness outright refused to testify. Without witness testimony, the police needed hard physical evidence. They found it near the bloody apron of the fourth victim, a cryptic message scrawled on a brick wall, widely known as the Jewess writing. But before detectives could document it, the investigation suffered the direct interference of the Metropolitan Police Commissioner, Sir Charles Warren. Fearing the graffiti would cause an immediate political uprising in the streets, Commissioner Warren personally ordered his men to wash the writing off the wall before sunrise. By erasing the only piece of physical evidence linking the killer's exit route to the crime scene, the head of the police force actively sabotaged his own investigation. Aaron Kosminski avoided the executioner's noose without relying on grand criminal strategy. Intense societal prejudice, combined with the personal decisions of police leadership, provided him with a level of protection that lasted long after his death. Even with the modern advancements, there is still pushback in 2025. Defense lawyers and historical purists argue that Catherine Eddowes' shawl passed through dozens of unwashed hands over its 126-year chain of custody, creating an extreme risk of cross-contamination. We can contrast that ongoing scientific debate with the undeniable historical record of the institutional cover-up. Shortly after the murder stopped, Scotland Yard prematurely sealed the operational files, and Commissioner Warren abruptly resigned his post, burying the details of their prime suspect for decades. Stripping away the media spectacle allows us to return focus to Mary Ann Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes, and Mary Jane Kelly. These were 5 real women whose lives were brutally ended, only to have their tragedies overshadowed by a fictionalized ghost story. Modern forensic biology can extract and sequence century-old DNA. Artificial intelligence can plot coordinates and identify fraudulent letters. But no amount of modern technology can retroactively cure the systemic corruption and cowardice of the Victorian era. If the DNA analysis holds true, justice for the victims of Whitechapel was delayed by 130 years. It proves a difficult reality about criminal investigation. Technology possesses the power to identify the guilty, but only human integrity can actually deliver justice.